All right, this will be a video for how I have my 2025 Bonafide PWR set up for tournament fishing here in 2026. I'll start, some people care, but this is Honda Ridgeline. That's what I tow it with. PFD, I have a 2023, I just got it actually. I got a sale on a 2023 old stock Chinook. I had a Kokatat Leviathan before that, and that was great. It was just kind of, just time for something else. So this is and the trailer I have, it's a Malone Micro Sport trailer. It's not real big, but it's big enough if you and your buddy are doing a float, big enough for that, and big enough for me to put my kayak. Also have a Jackson U-Pick that I use for just a paddle kayak, and my wife and my son's kayaks can also fit on there. So it's big enough for what you want, just about everything you want to do. I'll start at the front. This is a Yak Lights FLX spotlight. It has both the spotlight and navigation lights on the side. I have another video on that if you want to check it out. It's on the kayak with a YakTech GT 4-inch plate, and there's already a couple of bronze fittings already on there that come stock with the kayak to do a bow mount. And I just drilled some holes into the plate, put the 1/4-inch 20 studs through it, and then just lined them up to where those holes were. So if it's good, it's on there good. And it goes through the power link plate. And some of this stuff I'm not going to know names for. I rigged this up last year. There's a YakTech XL through hole, works great. I have a OG purple Go Falcons, Montebello Falcons, where I fished, purple board. And this is a Louisiana Custom Kayaks leash. This one's good, and also the regular catch one's also good. Good catch. ID holder inside here. I am no electronics rigging wizard, but I do all the stuff myself. First, I have a YakTech. This is a smaller bag. I keep all my motor accessories and a through hole, a couple other things, not through hole, scupper plug, but a couple other things in there. I just have it connected with the bungees that are already on here for the board. I just attached them there to this. So I just re-knotted it. It sits on here, doesn't move. It might hang a little bit, but it works great. Yeah, that was really good pickup. Some extra baits, don't tell anybody. This is where I keep it's kind of I guess a drag strap, which I'm not dragging this kayak paddling. But also, I've used this, you can tell I got a hole in it. I've used this box for other things in the kayak previously. I had a battery in here one time with my old town. But yeah, that's where I like the strap that I use to launch my kayak. I have a Perception sponge and whatever you call that, pump. Yeah, water pump. Just almost sank my Hobie one time, and after that I've had a pump. Actually, I had a pump then, and that's the only thing that kind of saved me, because it would have taken me forever to get the water out of there. Went fishing yesterday, so this is just a dry bag with some extra clothes, which you should definitely do in the winter. I got one other thing in here. This is my Yak Gadget. It's a Yak Gadget bag you can find on their website. This is where I keep a bunch of tools. I've had this thing for years. Tape, screwdrivers, Allen keys, all that, all the regular tool straps, things like that you think you need out on the water. Close this up. So, and also I have my strap, my leash here. So it's long, but it's not like crazy long. I wanted it a little bit longer, so I added a little bit longer leash here with some paracord, and that goes to a YakTech eye that I used. This is how I have my graph mounted down, but I put a Yak-Attack eye on there, and that's how I have it connected, which I need to redo that knot, actually. No, that's all right. So, yeah, I have two graphs. I have a Humminbird Gen 4 Helix 9, which I only use it for mapping. I have Lake Master maps. They're the best out there. Anybody can argue, I don't care. Lake Master are the best. And I have a Garmin with the GT56 transducer. This is another Yak-Attack deal here, the XL through hull. So the cords, you can see they're not too bad. I did good there. But here you have just, I don't know if you can really see it there, but I have one through hole down there. So that's how the transducer, it goes just straight there into the dry box, which I like the dry box. I don't know why a lot of people don't have one and they like to get the delete plates. Bruh, I don't need that much more room on my deck. Like, I really like the storage of it, you know? I mean, look at all the crap I keep in here. I got a couple of headlamps, some free weight sinkers. I'm over 40, so I got some Advil, some dye markers, Sharpie, sunglasses, if you really hook a fish bad, an extra navigation light just in case, and a groove fishing, I think it's called a tungsten vault. And I keep my, you know, got the pegs in there too. So I just keep that right there. Didn't really fit in my terminal tackle box, so that's why I keep it there. But yeah, I like the dry box. And then I have my power pole remote on there, so that works good. You can see with steering, I have the Wizard FCS. Whenever I bought the kayak, I bought it like, I just went right to the Wizard FCS. It was already out. I didn't even try the old one, so I can't give you advice whether it's worth upgrading. I just know that these are legit and definitely worth owning. So, you know, I would just say, just go ahead and spend the money, because kind of all the reviews I saw that it was worth the money. So there you go. And also on the bottom of this, I don't know if it'll come up, but kind of have to have two hands to do it here. But I have I'm not bending down, but there's the Yak Hobby. It's the Yak Hobby graph mount, transducer mount. That's how I have put on there. All right, I'll get under here. You see right there. So it's just kind of parallel with it, just perfect. That's come from Yak Hobby, so it's just exactly right. I like that. And then whenever I'm really going to be dragging a kayak, you know, I just lift up the dry box, and then my transducer ain't going to get scuffed up. Got to protect those. But I'll go back to the graphs here for a second. I see a lot of people do bars, and I actually bought one. I bought the Catch crossbar, and it's awesome. I just really don't think it's necessary. Like, see how low those graphs are? So I can skip under anything I want. It's just zero issues with the graphs being there. They're just the right height. And I really like that. A lot of people have them up higher. I don't. So, you know, I would just say Hans did such a good job putting the track where he did that it's just unnecessary to do a crossbar. And then a lot of people that do the crossbar, and then they can't put their board there. So that's another reason I get everybody wants to do the kayak how they want to, but for me, I really like the way Hans designed this, so props to him. And I'll tell you, whenever I tried to rig it, I really went through a bunch of iterations of trying the crossbar, trying different things, and this to me just turned out the best. I'll show you where I put my rod. A lot of people don't do that in videos, because whenever I'm looking at stuff at kayaks, I'm trying to figure out where the rod's going to go, where the graphs are going to go, where the paddle's going to go, where the net's going to go, and where the board's going to go. So, like, all those things are important to me. I like having, I can put two rods up here. They fit perfect. They still stay low. I can do them a little bit higher in the seat, because I'm usually up on the cushion, and that space on the seat is just extra. so I can keep my rod low, getting under trees if I'm not having a bunch of them standing straight up in the back. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty low deal to where I can still cast. If you're using a jerk bait, whatever it is, you know, whenever you're top water, whatever you're using, it's nice to have that stuff low in the front. So that's how I have it. At the seat, I have one of these Yak Gear packs. Works good. I have Bubba pliers and scissors. And then on the back, I have my VMC crossover tool, which if you're throwing any wacky or Nico, you should have that. This is a 3-ring plier. A split ring plier, not 3-ring. This is my terminal tackle box. It's just a regular 30 short, like a regular size 3700. I keep that under my seat. And I have, right now the seat's in the low position, so that's why I have this bag here in this position, because in the high position it does sit up higher, but it doesn't really affect my legs. And I would say I'm probably 50-50 low and high in this seat. I'm a heavy guy, so if I were, let's say, 150 pounds, I would just be in the high position probably all the time. Because I'm 275, just that extra 125 pounds of weight, you know, if things are a little bit squirrely, there's a lot of waves, I'm in the low position. So it's not as comfortable, but the high position is super high. So I think in this kayak, it's nice to have the high and low, but I would also be okay with if they just had a middle. That would be perfect for me. They don't make that, but if Bonafide is watching, I would definitely, because I even bought a seat, like the, here, I can go get it. So I tried to do this seat, the Bonafide seat, the Millennium seat, with the bottom of the, whatever the XTR, the base of that. I tried it in here. Somebody said that could be done. It's the base of the new Pro seat, which is the temperature seat, along with the base. I have it in my garage somewhere. So it didn't work. It didn't fit with, because I tried to do it without the swivel mount, because I didn't need swivel. I just wanted to get lower, so I could be like in a high position, but lower than this high, and that didn't work. So I wasted some money. It is what it is. Just don't do that. It doesn't work. So, and underneath my seat, I have, here you can see the regular size through hole for the controller on my NK300 and XL for the battery. I have a kayak cushion. C-Pro can go to hell. And there's my throttle mount. I have that on the right side because I'll tell you, I went both left and right for a while. I think in my Hobie I had it always left. But a lot of times I'm right-handed, so I hold my rod with my left hand and reel with my right hand. So although it's a change and it takes a while to get used to, I think this is the better way to do it. And people are going to disagree with me, but I like it being on the right. So there you go. This is how I have my net right now. It's in an AR tube, AR rod holder right there. I didn't say earlier, but I just have an extra rod holder here. If I want to take it off, obviously they're Yak Tech. They're easy to come off. It doesn't get in my way, especially in the low position, because it's pretty close to my leg. It's not a problem. But there's my net. And sometimes too, you know, I just grab it with my left hand, then pull it right out. It comes out easy. And then sometimes I will keep it on the front. So it just depends. If I'm only using one rod, I don't need a follow-up bait. A lot of times it's going to stay on the front, or I could put it on the back. It goes both ways. Next, a battery box. I already had this box from another kayak. It's a 12-volt box. It does not work with a 36-volt battery, but you know, I already had it, so I just kind of used what I had, repurposed it. There I have the one objective battery. I don't know. Yeah, you can look it up on their website. And I cut a Yak Tech strap just to hold it down. No problems there. I use Anderson plugs. I also have an Anderson plug on my, I put one on my battery charger. So I just charge my Anderson plug from the box directly into the charger. People say they have problems with Anderson plugs. I never have. Knock on plastic. Hopefully it continues, but yeah, I've never had any issues. The box, I kept it loose just so I could show you that one objective deal. These are straps. I have Yak Tech eyes. I keep the strap on my, it's a Yak Gadget Low Pro XL crate, the big one. And I just keep these straps on there. I strap it down, and then the straps go with the crate. I guess I can show that. The zipper, I keep line, gloves, some other stuff in there. It's able to keep a big box and, what is that, 6 regular 3700s and 1 double box. And you can also put one on top if you want to carry another one. So this box holds a lot. It's I've had it for years. It's great, no issues. I have 9 rod holders on it, 2 on both sides, 5 in the back, so total of 9. Plus I can carry 2 rods up front between my graphs, so I could carry 11 rods. I really try not to. I feel like I'm a better angler if I only carry 9 or less. That's probably the max. And then I can put them all back here. I do also have this extra deal here where I have my paddle, so I can put an extra rod holder there if I need to. I think the only time I do that, if I were fishing, it was an event where I knew I only need like 3 or 4 rods. I could put 2 up front and maybe 2 in the back, all laying down. And I knew I was going up a river, up a creek or something. I really wanted to keep my rods low. I'd probably move my net, put another rod holder there, and I could have 1 rod on each side down low and 2 up front, carry 4 rods. That's what I was going to do if I wasn't going to carry my crate. Also, one other thing about the battery, I was running it underneath my seat, and that's actually a great place for it. And if I had a Newport Low Pro battery, I would 100% keep it there, because I think for me, it kind of levels the weight out a little bit more. I have an NK300. I'll show you that here in a second. But having that weight, just that, foot, 6 inches to a foot underneath, moving that weight forward, I think is definitely the best way to go. With the battery here, it's probably a hair too much weight in the back, but it's close. It's not a problem. But ideally, I would keep my battery underneath the seat, and I would probably use that battery from Newport, because it could go under there I've measured it, and it would fit with the seat in low position. So if I were doing it, that's what I would do. And this is where I keep my soft plastics. I just keep them back here. They don't go anywhere, even in bad weather. This is a Live fishing bag. Man, I'll tell you what, it is nice. It's got a magnetic deal there, stays closed. You can zip it up all the way, but it stays closed on its own. I kind of paired all my sometimes I will carry a couple more soft plastics in the front, like another zip bag like I have already up there, but that's only if I'm going to Florida or somewhere that has like really specific soft plastics I want to use other than the normal. But most of the times, probably like 95% of the time, I can get away with just one soft plastic bag, because I've taken enough time to figure out that I can overlap enough techniques to only carry a certain amount of soft plastic, so that's what works for me. And if I'm going on a trip, I'll keep extra bags in my truck, so that way I don't have to have them all in my kayak at one time. I can just replenish for the next day at my truck, and not, you know, like the regular big boat Bass Pro guys do, rather than having to carry it all in the kayak. Yep, that's where that goes. I have a drink deal there, just a regular Yak Attack cup. So I'll show my paddle. This is how I have it. Other people have done it different ways. If I'm fishing in grass, Gunnersville, something like that, I don't really want to keep it there, because it will hit the water. If you have it down here and it's in that amount, it kind of hits the water. So getting it up a little bit higher definitely works better. Bending Branches Angler Ace, I've had this dude since 17. Yeah, like, great paddle. Starting to show a little bit of wear, but I don't paddle that much either, so, you know, used to, but not so much now. There's, like I said, I just have the regular Yak Attack deal here. Mount. I think it's a throttle mount. You can find it on their site. So here's my motor. I have two Yak Attack XLs. See them there. I think it's pretty. Did pretty good. I have a Old Town scupper plug. The only reason I do that is because it keeps water from coming from underneath, and it clears water on top. Fits perfect, no issues, and it keeps, to me, I had an old Native Titan similar to the setup, but the water was more apt to go into these holes. So that's kind of like something I really think about, that I want to keep the water away from these holes, so that helps me do it. I just added that. Got that from the Bonafide group, which Bonafide has a great group, Facebook group. Show you how I did these. I know whenever I was trying to rig it up, I was trying to figure it out, watching videos, actually called Chad Hoover, talk to him. Yeah. I keep a little, this is one of those metallic wire deals. I keep it's just how I keep my cables out of the water. And then I use it whenever I'm loading up, after everything's out. I attach these cables to the place that held the strap for my battery. I attach that wire deal to that, and it keeps my wires going forward and straps them down so they're not bouncing around. There you go. I like these Night Eyes deals. They're really nice. A small size 15 pulley. The Night Eyes deals, they are really nice, super light. This NK300 is so heavy, you really don't need, you can go about between 6 and 8% of your reverse throttle. You can do that to go backwards without your motor popping up, without it coming out of the water. So you really don't need a reverse lock. Like, that's kind of superfluous, I guess, unnecessary. You can see how I have some eyes there. This is the dugout steering triangle. Works great. NK300, it's been good so far. In this kayak, I'm going, again, I said I'm a heavy guy. I can go 6.5 for sure. Like, I think maybe if I keep my motor pretty high because of the places I fish. Some shallower, some grassy. I keep my motor pretty high. So I think maybe if I dropped it down, I might could get 7. But right now I'm getting 6.5, and I'm sure some of that's weight. If you're 100 pounds lighter, you could probably go faster. Yep, I have I have it just hardwired into my battery. My 50 amp, 12 volt 50 amp runs both my graphs and my power pole. I use a 6-foot spike because I don't use it too much. It's usually in places like Gunnersville, or for drifting. I'll use it to kind of keep me going the right direction sometimes. It does work well for that. I don't really need the 8-foot, and I get less wobble. I've had the 8-foot before, and I prefer the 6-foot. But yeah, the catch motor mount, is it worth it? Probably. I think you do get more speed, but I bought it with the kayak. I sold my Hobie and the motor, my NK 180 I had with it, so I bought all this at one time. So I can't give you a before and after. I only know it with it, and I get 6.5 with the NK 300 and the dugout bait and tackle steering triangle, which, holler at them, they're the best around. Love the dugout guys. Yep, there's more of the how I have my cables and all that going. Have a Yak Attack eye there. This, I have a little bit different deal. I don't know if I've seen anybody else do this. This is just how I do it. So I have a up. That's where it's at now. And it's not all the way down. It's most of the way down. Because I can still run it in, like, you know, a half a foot, 6 inches of water. I can still run that motor. Not for long, because you don't want to overheat it and you don't want to be running it down in the mud. But you can get under a foot with the motor at that height. So I have the high. If I need it to go all the way up, I can lift it up a little bit, but I've never had to do that. It's high enough to where it's not a problem. Then I have a medium, and this is just a welded ring I got off Amazon. They have a medium, and there's not a lot of situations you're going to use that, but you can. I mean, if you're trying to stay more shallow, but still get most of the speed of your kayak, you can keep it a medium, and then all the way low. And that's just because, you know, I probably could move it here or two and it'd go all the way down. There'd be a little less slack, but it works. But that's it. Great kayak. You know, 0 issues so far. Bonafide makes a great kayak. I had the SS 127, one of the second kayak I ever had, and that was amazing. The only reason I went to something else because I went to pedals. If they would have made pedals at the time, because that was back in the day whenever, you know, before motors were allowed, at least in my local club. So I had to go to pedals because it was just, you know, able to cover more water. So there you go. Bonafide PWR 129. Let me know if you have any questions. Put them in comments below. Like and subscribe. And if you made it this far, I really appreciate you watching. Take it easy.